Hey everyone, I hope you're all well as we move into crazier times. And it certainly is crazy out there as it seems the tension of the world is really just ramping up. Well, actually, it seems that way because it actually is. More earthquakes and more weather events and more civil unrest and more global push towards the final Antichrist system. Look, even today, Tom Hughes just showcased one of the biggest pieces of blasphemy that I've seen in a while. So apparently Amazon is now selling a Christian Ouija board where you can go do seances to talk to Jesus. I cannot believe it. But look, I even read the reviews where one guy was complaining because all he's hearing is some raspy voiced man. Unreal. But look, if you're even the slightest biblical scholar, you would know all this was supposed to happen. But today, I need to tell you a story about how most certainly God is in control. And in my case, just recently, I did something really, really stupid. And in some crazy way, I cannot believe it, God pulled me out of my dumb decision. So here it is. Look, if you've been following me for any length of time, you would know that I've been doing video production and photography for the better part of 25 years. And look, I love what I do, even more so now than before. I get to travel the world and, well, meet new people and do some really unique things that most people never could even fathom. But what's more, I like to create content for my clients that is effective for their marketing purposes. And I hate letting people down, even to my own detriment. And so that's how this story begins. I want to come through for people every single time. And I push myself, typically saying, oh, yeah, I can do that, even when I need a break. The chances are you're aware that I was one of the organizers of the recent prophecy conference in the Gold Coast of Australia. And look, this has been in the planning for close to 10 months. And again, if you've been following me for a while, you would probably have noticed that I have not consistently updated videos or uploaded videos every week. And look, this is because since September of 2023, I have been nonstop working, no joke, even to the point where, look, I really didn't have a Christmas break. So that said, back in early December, I really felt the Holy Spirit impress upon me that as we got closer to the conference here, the first week of February, Satan was going to try and distract me and even derail me from what I needed to do for the conference. Well, sure enough, this is what happened. I have one client that typically sends me jobs that are typically, look, they're high pressure, they require travel. Now, I told them way back in December I would be out end of January. But then I got a call the second week of January. John, we're probably going to need you in Jakarta, Indonesia, and Bali next week. We finally picked up a new client we've been after for the last 10 years. And I said, guys, I have a very limited window that I can do this. And honestly, I shouldn't be going. To which they replied, look, you just have to go in and get out, and we can do the edit after the conference. So I reluctantly agreed. But another week went by and look, nothing. So I figured, well, maybe this wasn't happening. Then on the Saturday night, just less than 2 weeks from the conference, at midnight, I got the text. It said, John, book your tickets. We need you in Jakarta on Monday. And this is Saturday. Now look, I was half in a daze as it was so late. But there I am trying to organize this last minute trip, trying to sort out visas and extra baggage. And finally, by 3 a.m., I clicked the button to purchase everything. And there I am, wound up and frustrated and trying to fall asleep. Well, a few hours later, I woke up at 8 a.m. with the most terrible gut feeling that I've never had before. And it was like this. Hearing that voice in my head is like, John, what have you done? You can't get on that plane. Now, What I haven't told you yet was several years ago, I had a 3-hour layover in Bali. And from the time that I landed to the time that I was supposed to take off, a volcano in the area erupted. This grounded all flights, and I was stuck in Bali for 4 to 5 days. Now, the likelihood of this happening again was incredibly slim, but I ended up calling Mark, the other conference organizer, and told him what was going on. And he said to me calmly, well, I guess the worst that can happen is you just missed the conference, but we do need you here. At this stage, I was in a complete panic, as you can imagine. I knew I had to be here. And so I texted my client that I had to back out. I knew the repercussions of this. And honestly, I have never, ever in my career backed out of anything. More importantly, this would make my client look very bad to their new client. And this is a multi-billion-dollar organization, not million, but a billion-dollar organization. So they were now flipping out at 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And they asked me, is there anyone that can take your place that can pull this off? So that's when the flurry of phone calls started. So picture this. I called every industry person I knew at 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning when half these people might still be in a drunken stupor from the night before. Now keep in mind, I do deal in the secular world, so sometimes this is kind of standard. But look, I even called one guy in the UK, and he was at some friend's 40th birthday party in Paris playing drinking games, telling me, sorry, John, I'm too many drinks in to help. Oh my gosh. Look, panic was absolutely setting in. I mean, I was literally flipping out as I knew the responsibility that I had committed to, and I was calling everyone. And in the back of my mind, the thoughts even were creeping in, well, maybe I could go, maybe I could pull this off, but something in my spirit just said clearly, John, just hold the line, be patient. So at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, just over a week from the conference, I got a call back from a guy, Esteban, who lives in Brisbane. Now, Esteban is a pro. I've actually hired him in the past for this exact client and this exact kind of shoot. And here's how the conversation went. Hi, John. Look, I got your message. What's going on? What's so important? And I said to him, Esteban, thank you so much for calling me back. Yeah, I'm in a real jam. I committed myself to going to Jakarta tomorrow, but I'm realizing I can't do it. What's the chances I can get you to go for me this week? And then there was this long pause from Esteban as if he was thinking. And so here was the God moment that he said. He's like, well, I was already going to Jakarta on Saturday for another shoot. What? Did you catch that? Esteban was already going there. And so I said in my panic state, how soon can you be there? How soon can you be there? Can you get there tomorrow? And he said ever so calmly, he's like, well, I don't think I can be there tomorrow, but I think I can be there Tuesday. I was in complete shock. Like, seriously, consider the odds of this happening. This guy was already going there, and all he had to do was get there a few days earlier. So sure enough, not only did Esteban go on my behalf, he made all the travel arrangements to Jakarta and the equipment rental, for him. So look, this totally freed me up. And honestly, folks, it's a really good thing that it worked out this way. Look, my client ended up needing my production the following week of the conference, not after like was originally thought. So as Esteban was sending me raw video from the day, I was editing all this on the fly. Look, even working 12-hour days over the weekend before the conference. I have to tell you, it's a darn good thing that I was in Australia that week, as so much of the production that you saw, if you were there, was done that week right up to the doors opening. And even the programs almost didn't make it because the printer dropped the ball. And had I not been here in Australia, I wouldn't have caught that. So in the end, after about 40 grueling hours of churn and burn editing, and feedback from the client. The final video was signed off on by Tuesday afternoon. And Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., we picked up nearly 20 Americans from the Brisbane airport for the conference that started on that Friday. I had so many people ask me if I was stressed at the conference and, in putting it all together. And look, the truth is the conference was a walk in the park. And it was fun. It was actually such a joy because I guarantee none of you knew all that happened behind the scenes. Look, the truth is God saved me. I have no doubt about this. And look, even the icing on the cake here. When I book plane tickets, I never, ever buy the insurance because I'm just committed. Well, in my sleepy 3 a.m. stupor, this one time, I clicked the button for the insurance. So the cost of the tickets was fully refunded. That was a God thing. And even just yesterday, I met in person with Esteban and we talked shop. And from that conversation, I'm hoping, now that he knows more of what I do, that new high-end projects will come my way. Because as we were talking, many times he said, had I known you did all this, we could have used you. Folks, that is very exciting for me. And folks, that is actually my story of the day. And man, what a journey God has me on. And it reminds me of two passages here. The first one is in Luke 16. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. And the second verse is in Luke 12. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. Look, I'm nothing special. Yes, God has given me certain talents. But I think the only reason why I was on that stage last week and even why the conference happened was out of obedience and humbleness. And that is the privilege it is to be used in such a way. But I assure you, pride is an absolute stumbling block in these instances. That said, I ask that you please like this video and maybe pass it on if you got anything out of this. And I hope to see you all next time.